That's better than doing like Baby Shark. I've never heard the Baby Shark song before. Like the Baby Shark do 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 do, Baby Shark do 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 do.
See, I can't believe that you never heard that before, because like I remember that song from like camp songs from when we were kids or something.
Seriously? Hey, Jen's on here. Hey, Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Really? Because like until so like on Facebook, hey Christina. So Facebook has this thing where like you can do different live things and you can do different like masks, I guess. And one of them is like this Baby Shark song that I've never heard of before. And like the kids and I are doing it, and it just like it keeps just going over and over again. Baby shark do 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 do, Baby shark do 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 do. Yeah, I've never heard of it before in my life. And so my kids and I were on Facebook Live doing Baby Shark, and I was like, all of a sudden it switches to Mommy Shark, and I'm like, what? There's a Mommy Shark now? And then all of a sudden there's Daddy Shark, and I'm like, just going with it. I'm like, yeah, Daddy Shark, do do. And then I didn't know, like, after that, I'm like, is it gonna be like Auntie Shark, do 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 do? Like, and it didn't. But anyways, hey everyone, how you doing? Everyone doing great, I hope. We are on Facebook Live and we are on YouTube Live, and we are going to get ready to start here. We are waiting to get our special guest on here, and I'm waiting for her. Hey Dusty, if you're on here, I haven't seen you join, so you might need to comment to me. Like comment on the video, and then I can click on your comment and add you. There we go. She said hello. So we are going to,
Bring her on, right?
Yeah, okay. Here we go. Here she comes. Sorry, I don't know if anyone else could hear that. Our daughter's doing dishes in the background. Yes, we're doing this out of our house, and all of a sudden I just hear thunk. Oh, jeez. So we're waiting to do this. Why don't you, while we're waiting for Dusty to get on here, why don't you go ahead and tell us what we're doing?
I'm Margie Fink, and
I'm Darren Fink
with Transfiguring Adoption, and this is our weekly caregiver check-in, where we just get on here with other foster and adoptive caregivers. Professionals will chime in as they start watching, or sometimes we have former foster youth, adult adoptees, and just interested volunteers who want to help resource caregivers and find out more about foster care and adoption. So we are just a bunch of caregivers giving each other sharing advice, comments, questions. We facilitate the conversation, so bring your questions, bring your thoughts.
Absolutely. Here, I'm going to try one more time to bring Dusty on here. Okay. And if Dusty is on, it should be sending you something asking you to join the conversation. There we go. I see a connection. There we go. She made it.
I did.
You did. And I am going to go on here. Sorry for my hand, you guys. Jeez. Oh, and I just knocked everything over. So everyone just went skyrocketing. Oh, it's good times. You should see this. We're busier than a one-legged man at a butt-kicking contest. So we can hear now. You there?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can. It's a small voice, but we can hear you.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So, hi, Dusty. How you doing?
Hi. I'm going to see you guys next week. I'm so excited.
It is. It's going to be really exciting. Well, you're not going to see me, though. I'm going to be stuck at home. Hey, Laura. How you doing?
I can't see comments, so you'll have to tell me what I need to do.
Yeah, we'll go through those anyways. We'll read them off so other people can hear them too. So we'll definitely read those off. So yeah, absolutely. Did you do everything?
Look,
I missed it because I was helping out with the tech stuff. So we're good. So Dusty is here. Dusty is getting ready to do this amazing event. And Dusty, I would love for you to tell everyone about the event.
Oh, so Via Calori is a street painting festival that's held in Kentucky once a year. It's our 11th year in Kentucky, our second year in Louisville on the waterfront. All of the proceeds go to help foster children. Each year we pick a different project. So this year we're going to kind of steal Transfiguring Adoptions ideas, and we're going to do the first night in placement comfort kits, but we're also going to seed trauma-informed care babysitting groups so that that funding will help pay for some of that training so people can take that training for free that want to provide caregiving services for foster children without actually being respite providers.
Very
So,
cool.
yeah, it's got 100 street painters and 2 stages of music and cosplay and live action Mario Kart, and it's free.
That
So.
is amazing. That is really, really cool too. So yeah, what else are you going to be seeing at the event? Like live action Mario Kart, and what else, like what does one see when one goes to this event?
You know, people ask me that all the time. I had a newspaper article interview that I had to answer, and hi, Kat. And basically, you'll see 100 different street painters. You will see a kids section where kids and adults can street paint as well along the water. We have 2 stages of music. We have live theater. Sorry, I have a cat. And who doesn't know what I'm doing. We have live action Mario Kart racing. We have 5 different sections of pop culture. So we have anime and superheroes and princesses and sci-fi, and you guys as sort of the magic Harry Potter representation. You will see a bunch of different animal rescues because I'm a sucker and I think animals need help too. Lincoln Bridge, who was on America's Got Talent, will be performing for free on Saturday night at 10 p.m. You will see 4-foot bubbles. You will see Reptar. You will see Godzilla. You will see all kinds of costume characters. And you'll see me running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Woohoo! That sounds like
and we have vendors and food and a cash bar, and so it's a really cool experience. I have another cat.
It sounds like a really fun experience. It sounds like that if you can't find anything to do at this event, that you have issues.
I would say that if you can't find something to do at the event, come find me. We'll find something for you to do. There's plenty of trash to pick up.
That's awesome. That is so cool. And can you tell, we had a lot of people just join in. Can you tell people again why are you putting on this event?
I want to help foster kids. I want to help foster parents. We want to help the arts community. We want to help as many different local charities as we can. Hope's Closet in Kentucky, they have a storefront. People donate clothes and school supplies and prom dresses, and foster kids can go in there and shop, and it's free, and it's pretty phenomenal what they do. Rue's Wish is there. They have done luggage drives. They've done shoe drives. They have been working on redecorating visitation rooms, so when kids go in to visit with bio parents, it's not so clinical and scary. You know, and I think we have this platform, and I have a very large voice, and if we can use something fun to bring information about foster parenting and that it's not that scary across, you know, our state and other states in a way that's productive, it's a good thing. I think I get to throw a party.
And that's always good, right? To be able to throw a party.
Yeah, and I reached out to you, and I love being able to work with you. I send all my foster parents to this check-in. I'm a foster parent, so these Monday night check-ins are really good. I want to see your ELF squads grow because I think they're so desperately needed. And my team is phenomenal. I have an amazing team of volunteers. It takes about 200 people to pull this event off just on the ground. At the festival itself, and my team is very vested. And when you have a vested team, you know, we've said a lot forever, for as long as I've been involved. Yes, we don't ever want to lose money, but it's not so much about how much we can raise. If we can put one more kid in one more home, and in a good home that believes that these kids can be helped, then we've done our job.
That's fantastic.
Thanks.
Fantastic. Well, cool. Like, so the event's going to be, when is the event going to be going on, and where is it going to be going on at, in case some people are watching near there?
The event is hosted in Louisville, Kentucky. It is on Saturday and Sunday this week. Um, so the event hours are 10 to 10 on Saturday and 10 to 5 on Sunday. Now the kids sections, like where you guys will be, those are shutting down at 5 because we're going to be doing we're going to candlelight all the art. And with the performance by Lincoln Bridge, we're expecting to have large crowds, and we want to kind of make sure that everybody's safe and the kids are safe. And so we have free trolley services from 6 to 10 so people can park around and get to the festival. And, you know, you can hang out in Indiana and walk across the bridge and come to our festival too. So we kind of span 2 states.
So it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun for any type of family, right, to come to this?
Yeah, it is. And we don't have a demographic. You know, you can be young, you can be old, you can be single, you can be married, you can have 15 kids, you can have a dog, you can have a house plant. Bring your house plant. We'll take pictures with it. You know, I think that it's, and the event really does encourage families to do family things and to talk and to have these discussions. And I think that that's so needed. And we have security, and we have calm down areas if if a parent needs it, or a foster child needs it, or anybody needs it, or if I need it. We have spaces where we can have people go just to calm down, that's outside that scope of the festival.
That is very cool. So it sounds like you guys have thought of a lot of things, and Margie's looking forward to being there, you know. I wish
I'm
I
so
could
excited.
go. I really wish
I
I
wish
could be
you
there.
could. I wish you could bring the kids. I think they would have a lot of fun.
I think they would too. I think they would have a lot of fun. Maybe next year we'll be able to do it. Just this year it didn't work out.
That's okay.
As we're transitioning, thank you so much for telling us about that. So one thing that I wanted to actually open up, so what Margie said at the beginning is, this is our caregiver check-in, and Dusty's been actually a part of the caregiver check-in a lot, so she knows how this works. So we are going to start talking about a topic, but if there is something that you want to talk about, like anyone wants to talk about, just go ahead and leave a comment, and we will share that comment so that Dusty can also talk about it with us. And this is your time as caregivers or professionals or whoever you are watching. This is your time to ask questions or give advice to foster and adoptive parents, and for us to talk and hash it out. Yeah, this is our time to just be an encouragement to one another so that we can make it through another week as successful parents for kiddos from traumatic places. So one thing that has come up, and this comes up a lot, I think it comes up again and again in cycles that I think that we see, is when we have a lot of foster families or adoptive families, we're made up from different cultural backgrounds. Like a lot of people, I think our family is actually atypical, that we have all of our children are Caucasian actually, and it just happened that way, those are the kids that came into our lives. And I think we're atypical that way as a foster adoptive family. You think?
Somewhat. There's a lot of transracial foster placements and adoptive placements.
So one thing that came up is we met some folks when they were just kind of talking about, what do you do to make a child from a different cultural background, racial background, like what do you do to make them feel comfortable in your home? And I guess one thing that I want to kind of explore is, when is it going too far and you're thinking too much of how to help the child, and what are things that, yeah, you need to really consider that, or you really need to do that, if that makes sense. Like, so what are some things, and I'm asking this out to Dusty or the community or Margie or whoever, okay, so Christine said that she's commenting, she says, yeah, they have all Caucasian kiddos too in their home. What are things that you do as, I guess, is it transracial? Is that the term that I use? Transracial family. Like, what do you do to make sure that everyone's comfortable in the family, or everyone feels connected?
So my husband and I last year took a sibling group of biracial toddlers. Let me just tell you, toddlers are hard work. Like, everybody can say teenagers are tough to foster. The toddlers ran me ragged. So props to anybody who does toddlers. I'm not. I've never had girls, right? Our biological children are all boys. We have 4 boys. And so we get these 2 little girls. And I think the hardest thing for me to do was learn just basic caring, like caregiving, how to do hair, how to take care of their skin, how to, manage all the little things that went into just their hygiene. And fortunately, we have a community of people who were able to help me, but that's not something I thought of when they called me at, 2:00 in the morning. Hey, do you want these kids? And I was really, really unprepared for the difference in culture with things like hair care and skincare and diet. I mean, you don't even have to have a different race. Our kids sometimes come from very neglectful situations, so broccoli is foreign to them. So I think that it just takes, well, it is, I think it just
really,
takes time. My girls, when we had them, hadn't had fruits and vegetables and things like that. So how can you creatively introduce that to kids without it being overwhelming? And I think you just have to kind of wing it.
Yeah. We actually, like, I will say that when we started our foster journey, so I'm an artist I love art. And so I'm just really, I think I'm creative. I think I am. I hope I am. So what we would do with our kids is we would come up with these, and this was before, the whole, I know, the Fantastic Beasts, the second Fantastic Beasts movies coming out. We would come up, with these things, little creatures around the home, so that,
I love that.
you could pretend with your child, because our kids a lot of times didn't know how to play. And so we would come up with ways for them to be able to play and show them that the adults wanted to play. But one of the things, creatures, we actually have it. Oh no, this one isn't on our website. Some of the creatures are on our website at transfiguringadoption.com, and you can take a look at them and read through them with your kids, and then they have little activities. But one of them is, when you said about broccoli being a foreign thing for them,
yeah.
One of them is attacking that whole issue of the foods that you have in your home are unusual. We actually, hopefully, we're working with an illustrator right now. I'm hoping that book will be out next year sometime, that we can introduce that. But
go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm used to typing.
So Dave on Facebook is asking, he said, what about trans religion within a family? He said, so he's opening that one up to the community. What do you do when you have multiple religions within a family? What do you do for the kiddo? What do you do? How do you handle that? How do you make everyone feel comfortable and connected still?
I think you celebrate that. I mean, different religions are different religions. It's different everything. I mean, I personally think that if a child comes into foster care and they have a certain religion or a certain faith, it is up to us to respect that and to really kind of embrace that, because that faith and that ability to believe in something probably got them through some very difficult time. And so if we take that away, or we try and impose something else over top of something that they have used to cope with or to hang on to, we're doing them a great disservice. And that goes for anything, whether it's religion or food or a bedtime story or a particular way to celebrate a birthday. These are familiar things to these kids, and to kind of remove all that and to not embrace it and want to know about it and want to know what makes them special, to me, it's unfair.
And one thought that I have on that too is sometimes, depending on especially if it's a younger child, I wonder if it's not so much about the belief either, but it's about that's a connection to my birth mom or my birth dad. And it's almost like having your security teddy bear, from the
Mm-hmm.
birth home. Don't rip that.
Yeah, you can't take that away. I think, and you know, you can translate even that right back to behaviors too. So, you know, some of the behaviors that seem so challenging to foster parents or parents in general, lying, stealing, biting, I mean, whatever it is, those are the behaviors that may have helped them survive whatever it is that they're going through. And so you have to kind of approach that with a just sort of an intent to be kind.
Right, for sure. But I'm curious what other people have to say, because I know that there's probably a lot of opinions on different topics like that, but we're specifically talking about, so we had the question about trans religion, but my question was, what do you do if you have a transracial family through foster care or through adoption? What do you do to make everyone feel connected and welcome? And when is it taking it too far? Like when are you doing too much work and you're basically you're just too worried about it maybe? Like I'm curious what people have to say about that.
So Christina said we had to learn to deal with no cutting hair and wearing skirts. We did not really have to deal with different churches. For us, that would be difficult as I am a children's minister. Yeah, so even within sometimes the own particular faiths, you have different, you know, things going on. Janice says, what about a mixed child that was being raised in an all-white family that thinks he is just really tan? Do you introduce the culture or no?
Ooh, that's a good question. So if you missed that, it is, what about a mixed child that was being raised in an all-white family that thinks he's just really tan? Do you introduce the culture or no?
I introduce my kids to all different cultures,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we don't have cultural lines in my house. We don't discuss color. We don't discuss difference of religion in ways that are debatable. This is what this person believes. This is what this person feels. I think that I would introduce that culture, but I would introduce a lot of different cultures too. A lot of different aspects of different cultures are so beautiful. And to share those with kids, it gives them a view of the world, and especially in childhood when it's so innocent and everything brings wonder. You know, those are the times that you want to introduce that, because because he's different, and different culture doesn't mean that he's loved any less or he's looked at differently, at least in you know, our home or somebody else's home.
And I don't think there's any black and white with that either, right? Like, I mean, it's funny we're talking about this, it's pardon the pun, I guess. Like, there's no, like, right or wrong with it, because I think it's going to be up to that child, too. Like how are they going to form their identity? Like, is it, I mean, for some kids, it might be important to know, like, what their birth family, like, to know about their cultural background of their birth family and to take on that identity. And for other kids, they're going to be so connected with their adoptive family that it's maybe not as important. And you might, like, I could see, like, maybe just being open about it and saying, this is where your birth family came from. This is information about your birth family. But there's obviously more to a family than cultural and racial background. So I don't know. I just think being open. I think that openness is the key.
Mm-hmm.
One of the hardest things we struggle with right now, we have a teenage girl, which her goal has been changed to adoption, and I'm really hoping we can pull this off. But she's my daughter regardless. And I'm trying to teach her that her religion or her sexuality or her color of hair, that's not who defines her. That's not what defines her. Those are just things that she's, you know, doing or embracing or, you know, enjoying, and we'll support that. But what defines her is her kindness and her compassion and her intelligence and her sense of humor, that who she is. And so I'm struggling with trying to find that balance of, yes, this can define part of who you are, but it's not you as a whole.
Right.
And when you have a teenager that you're trying to explain that to, it's kind of like talking to a fern. Like, I don't know how much you get back. I hope she hears some of it, but I do that with all my kids. It's our kids, I want to know from whoever's watching and whoever's listening, how they help their kids embrace that they are just kids, because so many of our kids can't just be kids. They have to be adults, and they have to be worried, and they have to do these things. So no matter what the age, how do people take some of these cultural things and these religious things and everything else and make it so that kids can just be kids?
Ooh, I like that. Hey, one thing
So
I'm going to say, well, let me just say this real quick. So I forgot to tell everyone at the beginning, we have people coming and going right now as they can. If everyone would go ahead and share that you're watching right now on social media. Hey, Kindle's on here. We love Kindle. Go ahead and share that you're watching this on social media, because we always tend to, when people are able to share on Facebook that they're watching, we get more people in and the conversation just gets that much richer. And we just love that. So go ahead, and you want to catch us up with comments?
Okay, so Janice said, Dusty, that's what we have been doing as well. Logan says, I would always leave it up to the well-being and understanding of the child. Sometimes it might be best for small children to not see in color as they try to acclimate to a new home. And Felicia says, I really love what Dusty is saying, and it coincides with our lifestyle. In regards to religion, my sister at one point was taking one child to the Catholic Church, one child and the other child to a synagogue, and one child to the Baptist church, which became too much. And I think that's one thing, you know, when you talk about religion, depending on how many different religions you have in the house, it can become difficult. I know, you know, when I'm blanking, Christina being a children's minister, you know, it gets really difficult if you are in leadership in a church or on a staff in a church or of a certain faith. It becomes tricky, and then you really have to kind of consider what placements you will take, and talking with the agency and determining, you know, if there are children that are not of your faith, maybe the placement won't work if you're going to have to be, you know, at church or, you know, in your different synagogue or whatever it is of your faith.
I think it's when it became, I mean, it sounds like when it starts to become overbearing and stressful, I think that's when it's no longer doing the child a service to introduce them to whatever it is. Or because if you're stressed out and you're having, and I'm not talking like it's making you uncomfortable or you've never done this before, so it's uncharted, but like when it's becoming a stressor in your life, then those stressors are going to add up, and you're going to blow up eventually. So it's not beneficial to the child anyways. I don't know. That's my thoughts. I would love to hear what other people have to say. Logan says, as far as religion, I have to be very thankful that we have not had to deal with this issue. I have a degree in biblical ministry. It comes down to the question of truth versus culture, which can be tremendously problematic. And I think you have to be honest with your caseworker, right? Like your placement worker. Like, what can I think that comes. I mean, what can your family handle? Or what? And again, if it becomes a stressor, and if it becomes too much of a stressor, who are you really helping? But yeah, Dusty, I like what you were talking about with as far as like, here are things that contribute to you, but it's not you.
Yeah, you know, I struggle so much because I work with so many different kids and so many different people, and there's so many people involved with just the festival. I struggle with my children. You know, they're at that really impressionable age where what they wear and how they talk and who they are is so vital to them, because kids can be cruel, and you have that. But I struggle because I'm so black and white with it. I'm like, this is who you are. And it doesn't matter, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like, my rules are simple. Don't hurt other people and don't hurt yourself. And if you do either of those two things, figure out how, why, and, you know, how you cannot do that again. And I do. I work with teenagers. I don't speak fluent teenager. I don't know anybody that speaks fluent teenager. But I think too, keeping it real. I don't believe in certain things. I believe in some other things. And I think that I'm human and I'm allowed to have these beliefs, and you're allowed to have different beliefs. It's not going to make me love you any less. And I know plenty of people in religious leadership who really embrace that kind of notion of kids will follow what's good if it's made to be good. If they're not made to feel bad because they don't believe in something right now, we have a hard enough struggle getting our kids to believe in themselves, let alone, something else.
Or to trust anyone, really, like to
Yeah.
trust anything. So, one thing I think too is just as far as like even looking at like the racial background, different things like that is I think there are some things like I want to hear what are the things that you would want to instill in your children? Like we're talking about trust or believing in yourself, or like I guess that's like would be healthy self-esteem. Like,
have you ever met a foster kid that had healthy self-esteem?
No, I have not.
Right. So embracing culture and embracing their beliefs and embracing things like that, those are big steps in building self-esteem, I think. I'm giving you value. I'm giving you importance, and I value you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Just my opinion.
And that gives them
I'm a
voice.
little controversial. You don't have to listen to anything I say. I do want to bring up something, though. You keep saying, cultural differences. And I think one of the things that people don't really look at is that poverty is a culture.
Yeah.
And so keeping a bathroom door closed, kids come in and they may not keep a bathroom door closed. They may not have had a bathroom door.
Right.
Or they borrow your hairbrush. Well, maybe the whole family shared a hairbrush. Or, they don't take care of anything they have. Well, if they've never had anything, they've never been taught to place value in those things. And so that I always throw in whenever we have cultural conversations with anybody. Poverty is a culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. I mean, from things like, are you using toilet paper? Well, if they didn't have toilet paper, they maybe haven't been taught how to use toilet paper, or they, they're not used to using it, to flushing the toilet. Hygiene, like we talked about before, you've never had broccoli. I mean, we had kids, it was a real struggle. If vegetables didn't come out of a can, like vegetables out of a can taste very different than we tend to use frozen bag vegetables. And so,
yeah.
I mean, it was huge.
Lower.
Like it totally tastes different than the salty stuff that comes out of a can. So we ended up, because we ate so differently, we had to kind of incorporate different foods for a while, and then we had to kind of ease in, and we had to do different things. I think we blogged one time about our blindfolded dinners, to encourage the kids to try new things. We gave them all a food
I love that.
We had food journals, so I gave them each a little journal, and so each night, like, we would blindfold them, not every night I think, but sometimes if we were introducing something new, put a blindfold on them and put the food in front of them, and they'd try it without seeing what it looked like, without really knowing much about it, and then we would take the blindfolds off, and then we would have a discussion, and they would, like, depending on their level, some of them could just draw faces, or words of what they thought about the food. And then, we come to a consensus, this is something we want to do again as a family. And so it's kind of a fun activity that they started looking forward to. And it kind of created this just neat thing that they were doing so we could try new foods.
I love that idea. I've never heard of that, and I think that is absolutely genius. In my house, it would be, does that taste like a dinosaur tail? Or, I mean, it would be something over the top. But I love, because if you don't know that, if you don't know it's a green bean, you can't complain that it's a green bean. I had a kid that had some problems.
So true.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had kids that had problems with canned vegetables too. That's all they wanted. So we started canning, and so it came out of a can, and they canned it, and they did it, and it made it. They ate more of that, and it's like I'd go to the farmer's market, I'd can green beans. Like, I hate that. It's awful. Sorry to anybody that loves canning. I have not figured it out yet. And I'd burn myself 15 times, but we made that a discussion and that a lesson, and now it comes out of a can, and now you can't complain.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think one thing
Yeah.
that people
Well, like we had one that wouldn't eat anything that was, any color of pepper, whether green pepper, orange, yellow, red, none of them,
Well, peppers are, yeah.
And so I would just put them through the food processor until they were pulverized and unrecognizable. And every once in a while there'd be like a little chunk, and it's like, what is this? I'm like, it's a vegetable, And for years, this child was eating so many peppers and had no clue.
I love it. No clue. My oldest son, you'll meet him at VIA. He'll tell you I got him to eat crab for 10 years because I lied and said it was chicken.
That's awesome.
I think too. I think that food is cultural but you have to have a sense of humor too. Peas in my world are like marshmallows and sausage. They're all the devil. But, I dislike those things, and I can't. I'm gonna tell my kid when he's like, I don't like that. Well, it's okay. You have to eat everything. Now, I won't. I will pick peas out of a stew. So we kind of have this sandwich rule. You don't like what you're getting. It's not a restaurant. I'm not changing it. And go make a sandwich. But I include the kids in the menus, and every now and then I put peas on the menu, and I don't touch them. So.
Yeah, Logan says that they had a 2-hour fight over eating a carrot once. He failed that power struggle. And Harvey says Zach thinks zucchini is cucumber, or he won't eat it.
Hi, Harvey.
That's
I know
bad.
Harvey very well, and I know Zach very well. And yeah, cucumber is the way to go.
Janice says one of their little dudes came from extreme poverty, and it is definitely a culture. Felicia said, in regards to the culture of not being taught to place value in things, I feel like there's also an element to the culture of poverty where everything is disposable, especially if you relocate often. Absolutely, yeah. So you're not.
That's huge.
Things don't have value, and that can be really frustrating as a parent. Like when as a caregiver, when you've worked really hard for something and the kids don't seem to have value for that. And that is it's a cultural
thing.
It
is, it's definitely different. I think one thing that we do a lot of too in our home is we tell the kids that they just have to try it. Like they just have to take one bite just to try it. And then it's not like, and then you're done.
That would not be me.
Yeah. Well, we're also the parents that when we go to the amusement park, as long as there's not like a real good reason like why a child shouldn't go on a ride or something, we're like, you're gonna try it one time, and then if you hate it, you never ever have to ride it again. Like we'll never bring it up ever again.
You are so brave, because my kids would be like, I'll sit here till tomorrow. And at some point I'm like, oh, for crying out loud, fine, just go away, because I want to go to bed, because it's 3:00 in the morning and I'm still waiting on them. So
well, one thing, I think the thing that helps us out is we have other kids that are like, like it's like monkey see, monkey do, like they're never say any, like they're backing like us up, like yeah, they won't, like they're telling the truth, like they'll never have, try it one time and then you never have to do it again.
Well, see, that I get that then. That's fair, because you got like backup singers.
Yeah. It's like, well, and they'll try, like, if we have foster kiddos, like they'll believe our adopted kiddos like way before us. So like it's like there are just so many times where they'll like say things and they're like, no, they're telling the truth. Like, for seriously, just do it and like you're fine. Like, and they're like, okay.
I'm so looking forward to the holidays this year, because we have such, like, I'm a very sentimental, traditional human being. So one of the things I'm discovering with my foster daughter is she's got some traditions too. But I think we're going to create a new we haven't decided what it's going to be, but like a new family tradition this year, because that's inclusive of her. And we'll kind of sit down as a family and be like, what do we want to do? And hopefully it doesn't involve marshmallows or peas, because I'll cry. But I think too, kind of not just taking her traditions and our traditions and blending them. Now we're going to create a new one. Whatever it is, we're going to do it.
And I think those are fun, because
we've done a lot of that, like over the years, where we have our traditions that as a family we kind of developed. Janice says that we gave him a special toy he is responsible for taking care of and always knowing where it is. If it gets lost, it'll be sad, and he is responsible for finding it. It has given him a sense of responsibility and importance towards his things.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that is really cool. Yeah, it's really fun. I like the yeah, I like coming up with the new traditions because I feel like if you come up with a new tradition, I feel like as a family, when you come up with something like that, it connects you all, and then it's a new tradition, so it's not no one's feeling left out because it's new, but it's not scary new because you're all coming up with it together. And then they're just interesting to hear too because every family is unique, and then when you add one more person into the mix, it's a different unique, and so like the traditions become just I don't know like I know, like when we had my brother-in-law joined our family, and no one had children. We like just randomly started this tradition where we passed out the wrong Christmas presents to each other, and you had to open it up and pretend like you were the person that was really supposed to be receiving it. But you couldn't show them what was actually in it. They had to guess what was in it based on the reaction and based on what you were saying about like. I had to act like if I got my sister's gift, I had to act like my sister, and she had to sit there and figure out, okay, what did this person get me? Because evidently I'm excited about this. Evidently I think it's something fun to wear. And I don't know, it was just stupid fun, and those make the best traditions, just the fun ones.
So Harvey says they choose the meal as a family. He says, we are tired of turkey and ham, LOL.
Yeah.
We've done that too. Like, I don't know, the last couple of years, there's been some different, I can't remember what all we've done, but just different stuff on Thanksgiving. Because it was kind of like he said snow crab, meatloaf, steaks, pasta, biscuits, I think it's biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
So I forget what I was gonna say to that. Oh, so I had a foster family in training once, and they said that they kind of had your same rule where you have to try everything, but they sat down, and if the kid agreed to try everything in the week and there were no battles over food, they could pick the meal, and it could be anything, like for one dinner the next week, as long as only 50% of it was sweets, because they got burned on the first time and the kid wanted ice cream sundaes for dinner. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with having cupcakes and broccoli for dinner. Like sometimes It was okay just to break the rules, and have cereal for dinner. But I think having the kids have those silly moments and trying one up like we're going to have cereal and broccoli, I'd be like, all right, I'm all for it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, and I mean, that a lot of what we try to do and incorporate, even on our website, is it's this idea that kids can learn a lot through, and even adults, we learn a lot through play. Mm-hmm. And we learn a lot when we're not directly given a task and saying, okay, now you're going to learn about this. And it's like a classroom experience. We learn a lot through play and just that playful engagement with each other. And like I said before, like I think at the very least, if nothing else, through all that playfulness and all the silliness, the kids are seeing that adults can play too, and we can have fun. And it's important that they learn how to do it too, because it does. I mean, I don't know how many foster parents I've heard that you've got to have a good sense of humor, otherwise you'll never make it. And I mean, you have to practice playing then, so that when something like some real stuff hits the fan, you've practiced playing, so you know how to joke around and you know how to play, because it doesn't come naturally.
Yeah. So Felicia says, I had an arrangement with a child where if he tried something that he stated he had in the past and did not like, then I would try something that I did not like from my childhood and hadn't eaten since. That's how I discovered that I actually like beets as an adult. Huh. That's really great. Yeah.
I love that.
Because we would share that with the kids about the fact that supposedly every 7 years your taste buds change. And so you don't know when those 7 years are up for any particular item. So it's never a bad idea to try it again and see what happens. I mean, I know that there are several foods that I eat now that I
Brussels sprouts. I eat Brussels sprouts
I mean,
now.
it has to be the right way.
Yeah,
They
it does have to be the
prepared
right way.
way. But I like blew me away. We were at Universal and they had like a holiday feast in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and they had Brussels sprouts, and it was like just I don't know. They were roasted with certain spices and cheese and stuff. And they were amazing. I was like, I can eat Brussels sprouts now.
You can put cheese on anything, though.
Yeah,
Edible.
yeah. But it wasn't like typical cheese. I don't know if it was like, I don't know. I made some the other day with feta in it, and it was like really good. But it's just roasted. Feta's amazing.
Margie, just so you know, there's a gourmet grilled cheese food truck at Via.
And I am okay with it. Oh, I won't be there. No, I'm not okay with it. I'm so not okay with it.
I'll send you pictures.
Yeah, pictures. Thanks. So Jen says, when you play with kiddos, it makes you seem less threatening too. That's so true. And that's a huge thing, right? Because I mean, how many of our kids were threatened or like they don't feel safe coming into our homes? So making it so you don't look threatening or seem threatening is huge. Wow, these are good ideas, you guys. Wow, we really we've like rabbit trailed from like our original topic, but this is good stuff.
We can do that every week.
Yeah, I know.
I love it.
It's fun. Like we kind of like before we come on and do the caregiver check-in, Margie and I say, let's talk about this. I think we can talk about this, and then whenever we get in here, like all the comments take it somewhere else, and we're like, oh, well, we weren't going to talk about that this week. We're really going to talk about this.
So I have a question for a future topic. If we could cover this sometime before Thanksgiving, it would be wonderful. How do you introduce foster children to extended family? And in my particular case, obviously my parents know that we're going to be adopting, and obviously my parents understand the circumstances in it, but they're 700 miles away, and the first time she meets them and the first time they meet her will be at Thanksgiving.
Wow, yeah. So how do you do that?
And we don't have to talk about it tonight, but just in the future.
Yeah, I would love.
With the holidays coming up.
Actually, after you guys have all of your event stuff handled and stuff like that, that would be a great topic to start November with, I think. Because I think that is a huge thing, because a lot of people do ask this question. And Thanksgiving's a rough time anyways, with kids' emotions, and just they're missing family. And then all of a sudden you're introducing them to new people. And I think I remember as a new foster parent, like you kind of want them to fall in love with your family because you like your family, I hope. And so but they don't necessarily, why do they have to like your family?
Right.
Like it's not their family. So.
Right. And we're going, and that brings it right back to what we were talking about. So the culture in Kentucky is way different than the culture in Philadelphia, right? So that culture shock too comes back to what we were talking about earlier. Right. How do we kind of keep that buffered?
Fantastic. Well, you guys, we are getting down to our last 10 minutes. So because of the video lag with our live video, I'm going to throw it out there to get your last questions or comments in there. If you want to ask Dusty anything about the event that she has coming up, if you want to ask just the group any last minute questions or advice, I'm going to give you the chance to do that. And while I'm waiting for people to get their comments in, I am going to say that we are working with our ELF Squad leaders right now on reviving our Universal Studios trip for foster and adoptive families in 2019. So what that's going to be is we're going to allow 8 families to come with us to the Universal Studios. It's going to be, yeah, you look like you have something, Dusty.
Oh no, I was teenager.
I was like, okay. We did this trip last year.
Wild West here right now.
Didn't have enough interest in it yet for people. But what's going to happen with this Universal Studios trip is we will have 4 staff members that are trauma informed that are going to go on this trip, and they will be able to take these 8 families around the park, help guide you, help show you where things are at. So if this is something that you're wanting to celebrate, I don't suggest it like adopting a kiddo and then going, but like maybe like an anniversary, like this your adoption anniversary, or like you want to take your foster kiddos with you, but you're not sure how you're going to handle the behaviors. This would be something good for that. What I'm throwing out to our group here that, because you guys join in all the time, is if you guys know any juvenile lawyers that you have connections with them, I would love to get connected with them, because we're finding that people in that profession, it can be a lot of negativity doing juvenile or family law, and being able to help a family get on a vacation is something that they are really into and make a positive impact. And so we want to talk with some juvenile lawyers, if you know any connections, to help us fund a trip like this. But let me know, and let us know too. You can send information at info@transfiguringadoption.com. Let me know if you'd be interested in a trip like this. It's not, we're not funding a trip and it's free. It's going to be a reduced cost trip, but you're getting things like lodging, meals, your tickets, and then, like I said, the 4 staff members that are going to be helping your family around the park.
And a kit kind of tools for
so you get a lot
surviving the amusement park.
Okay.
Logan says, one heads up with foster kids and holidays I hated was omitting the kids from family pictures due to not being able to post on social media.
But you can post on social media now, as long as you don't identify them as foster children. If it's a family picture, our PPS, what reasonable prudent parenting standards, dictates that if it's normal, you can do it. You just can't have identifying information, and you can't have like the school logo on their shirt where somebody could find them and possibly harm them.
Right. So I really.
Yeah, there are still some agencies that kind of haven't caught up with some of the prudent parenting and the different different states and different agencies are different on that.
Definitely check with your agency, but a lot of states are catching up, and they
Yeah,
are
because it's
like
federal. It was a federal law in 2015.
It's some places are just slower catching on.
Aww.
Which is funny because the feds are so slow sometimes, I feel. So I'm gonna get, is this like line tapped? I'm gonna get like a door knock now. Like,
send them to me. I brought it up.
It's gonna be I feel like though that makes everything so much easier, because I feel like that's so odd to have to take. I'm with you, Logan. Like, I feel like it's odd to have to say, okay, now you kids are gonna go stand over there while the real family takes a photograph. Like, who thought of that idea? So yeah, like it's just, I don't know, it's just so awkward.
Whoever invented peas.
Yeah, so Janice says, our worker, DCBS Kentucky, told us we can't post it all unless the face is covered. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of posts with kids, you know, like stickers over their faces, that kind of thing. Not like real stickers, but like
the emoji stickers.
The emoji stickers and that.
Yeah.
Such.
It's still, like, I still feel like it's weird, and I feel like it's robbing that, like, I feel like it's robbing that child of a moment. Like, because, yeah, then at that time, like, they're going through something, but, like, what if later on down the road, like, they want to be connected to that photo or something like that, and they, like, you give them a bunch of pictures with emojis over their face. Like,
it's like a hot mess of a soapbox, because I'm not even gonna start. But Janice, you're friends with me on Facebook now. If you message me, I will send you the Kentucky regs that state that that's not necessarily the case unless there is a potential, if there's a safety issue, you know, where posting that child's image means they could be found.
Right. Mm-hmm. And there's so many ways to avoid that. So it should be prudent parenting. Prudent parenting is just a great thing, I think. So
it's my favorite thing.
That's fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Don't forget to, we are still running our Chris Rankin Award for Best Adoptive Parent for 2018. Nominations can be entered through the end of this week. And then we're going to be pairing them up with the 3 celebrities that we have, which you can go see. I won't waste your time right now, but I will. Stan Yavinsky, Chris Rankin, and Ann Heffron are all 3 of our celebrities that we're going to be pairing people up with at the end of this. Yeah, definitely go. If you are an adoptive parent and you think that you earned this award, tell someone to nominate you, for heaven's sake. Good grief. Or if you know someone else that needs to be nominated, there are just a lot of people that are unsung heroes that they get that this is a difficult situation for children to go from having to leave their birth home and going into an adoptive home. And there's so many great parents that walk that journey with them and do it successfully. And they're just unsung heroes. So we're really hoping that we can take this contest and just really talk and celebrate those parents that are able to take kids through a delicate time. So go to transfiguringadoption.com and nominate someone before the end of this week. So thank you so much, Dusty, for being on here.
Thank you.
It was
for
good.
inviting me. I had a lot of fun, and I will see you. I won't see you, Darren. I'm sorry, but I'll see you Marcy on Friday.
You'll see the better half. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Come back next Monday at 8 p.m. and we will chat about some more things. And be sure to invite other people, and we'll have a bigger conversation. So thanks so much, everyone. We hope we're helping to nurture and grow your foster adoptive families.